So first,
Absolutely.
and I was like,
let's dig it all up.
Oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So, sidebar.
Yes. And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is also podcast in the City Edition, Season 1, Reunion 1. One of two, old school Watch What Happens Live reunion, because this is a new show, even though the cast is old.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, that sucks for, like, Lindsay and Kyle and Amanda even. Like, it just sucks.
Thought. Like,
you got downgraded.
Damn, you've been here for 10 years and you're sitting in Watch What Happens Live studio.
Yeah. But also, I get it, because at parts of this reunion, I was like, I don't care. We can move on.
No, let's be so for real. They got this reunion because Amanda did not deliver at the Summer House reunion.
Yeah, but also she's like not delivering appropriately now. She's like terrible. Anyway, okay, before we get into the episode, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. All the links are in our description. And please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Okay, let's go into the Watch What Happens Live Clubhouse. We do our intros. Nick and Yvonne, congrats on your baby. Gavin, congrats on your increase in business. Georgina, you look great. Amanda did her own makeup and styling and hair tonight.
Huge.
It's not to be roasted.
Huge for the beauty community not getting roasted.
Thank God. Lindsay loves Gemma. DJ Kyle Cook, his asshole is recovered from his, was it Fisher cut? Kenny and Whitney got a great spark. Danielle and Owen, spelled Eon, congrats on your baby. She was due Labor Day, I didn't realize.
No,
and
she
this
had
baby's
the baby
already
so early.
very... I knew she had it early because you told me, and, like, I could see on Instagram. But Labor Day is, like, real. Yes. Like, I just didn't put math together.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. She had the baby, like, 12 days after this reunion.
Holy shit.
I know.
It's not even Labor Day now.
No.
Like, oh my God. I'm so glad her baby's
crazy that they're
alive.
all due. Obviously, like, she had her baby first, but they were all due within a week of each other.
I can't talk about the ovulation of these cast members anymore. Like, I can't. Because then Andrea and Lexi, congrats on your baby. Yeah.
So many babies.
As far as I'm concerned, they had one giant orgy and all got pregnant at the same time. Like,
it does feel like that. It does. I don't want Danielle's baby to be, like, that early, but, like, I'm happy we don't have 3 babies literally within a week, because this would take up the entire show for the rest of our lives.
And, you know, okay, I'm excited for another season, but next season, I fear, will not be as fun now that all these people have newborn babies. Here's the thing. Walk with me here. Georgina's kid's a little older. Right? Mm-hmm. She has 2 kids. Her youngest kid seems to be walking and talking a little, so, like, kind of an old kid-ish, older than a baby. Lindsay has been on reality TV for 10 plus years, so she knows the assignment with or without a baby, right? Danielle, I think, will be able to pull it out because she has a background. Yvonne, Lexi, Andrea, and Nick, if they weren't boring already this season, they're going to be so boring next season.
I know. And Lindsay's daughter was 10 months old when they started filming that first season. Mm-hmm. So it is a little bit different than that, like, 3 months postpartum. Like, we're seeing that on The Valley. It's really tough to make these people...
It's not fun.
...go through a grueling mental and emotional process while in postpartum.
Yeah, that's, I think, part of what made the Valley kind of dark, given...
Their partners were way worse over on the Valley.
Yeah, but, like, I think Andrea is going to... he seems incredible and amazing, but I don't know Nick enough to be like, is he gonna step up? Because I thought Luke was great. I bet he will. He seems better than Luke. Luke is, like, disgusting and terrible.
Yeah.
I just think next season it's going to be so boring. It's be like, I can't do that. I have a baby. I can't do this. I have a baby. Please don't yell at me. I have a baby. And I'm going to be like, get off my screen.
I agree. Talk about a mom card being played.
Do what Lala did, where you leave and then come back once your kid's like 5 or
Maternity leave by Bravo.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so we got all these babies. Anyway, let's start talking about Amanda and Kyle's marriage and how it went south and Amanda swerved west. Gross, but that was good. So we talk about Amanda in Italy with West, the spitting pic, which was an olive, but it doesn't make it better.
No,
They're still spitting.
There is nothing you could tell me was being spit into his mouth that would make me be like, oh, okay.
I don't care if he was like, had a headache and you spit Advil into his mouth. Just give it to him. Just give it.
Why is this a bit? This is not a bit I ever want to be a part of.
I don't know anything that needs to fly from one mouth into another mouth.
We're not baby birds.
0%.
We don't need to do it.
So we talk about if Amanda was on beta blockers at the Summer House reunion because famously Andy asked Wes but did not ask Amanda. And she says that she was on a beta blocker, but she says after a while with arguments, she tends to shut down and she disassociates. So that's not why she was as bad as she was.
Talk about that. Because
sure. What do you want to say?
I disagree. I don't think she shuts down in arguments. We saw her make a ton of faces and being so animated at that Summer House table at their finale episode when she was in a fight with Danielle on In the City. She didn't shut down. I think she was on something more than beta blockers.
I'd like to paint another picture if I may.
Okay. Yes.
Think of all the times she has argued with Kyle. How many of those times in the argument has she just shut down? Maybe the next day she shut down and disassociates. But in the actual argument, and we can use this past season as an example. If I remember, there was a giant screaming fight because he called Amanda a bitch or something like that. I don't know. And she was in bed crying, and that's when Wes had to get involved. I don't remember her fully being like, I'm just going to sit here quietly. She always does yell in the moment. It's like the next day.
I wouldn't say she's yelling to Kyle's degree by any means. That's not her personality. But she's, never fully shut down like she was at that Summer House reunion.
So, I think
I don't buy it.
I got to be honest. I think that she, usually when she gets into fights, it's with Kyle or with Lindsay or Danielle. And usually there's people that have her back. With Kyle, the whole house has her back. With when she's fought with Lindsay or Danielle, Paige and Sierra have usually had her back, right? And this is the first time she's in an argument and no one's really going to come to her defense because Wes certainly is not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So she doesn't know what to do. She gets her strength from other people. We talked about this on Summer House. Where Sierra was the one that's let me know. I'll show up and we'll move you out. You just have to, you have to give me the bat signal. And then what did Amanda start doing? She's like, maybe I should move out. Maybe I should do that. She gets her strength from other people. She actually has nothing going on with her. So no one's here to back her up. She's just going to sit there and she still makes faces. Don't get me wrong. She's mastered that by herself, but.
That's a good point that, she draws her strength and confidence from other people. So when nobody pours that into her, she's just going to sit there. And
she's
I think
lame-o.
she is victim she's so victim centered that when all these people are yelling at her, it's easier for her to be they're so mean. I can't do anything.
I can't even speak without them yelling at me and being mean. And then I'm going to cry when Sierra tells me that I'm meek and weak or whatever she said.
I'm the weak woman he wants.
And also, she was asked this question and she could have easily been even if she didn't want to admit she was on something, she could have been honestly, I just knew I fucked up so bad. I couldn't even defend myself. And I feel really bad about it. Just anything. She can never just apologize.
Her ego's way too into it, which is crazy because this is so bad. You just got to take the hit on your ego and say, I was a bad person. I fucked up.
Whatever. So what does everyone else think about Amanda and Wes? Everyone's actually shocked that they're going to give it a go.
I am too.
That's so embarrassing.
Because this is June 12th they said on the top of it? That she just got home from Italy with West, and that shocked the world. Everybody was shocked they were together anyways, but that was a big statement to go on a family trip to a family wedding.
And look at now, he's out here cheating on her.
God,
look at that.
Anyway. And I agree. Danielle at one point says she's doubling down on everything, and she could course correct because while I don't think Sierra would ever be friends with her again, I think Kyle would still be friends with her. Lindsay could be friends with her again. I think people would talk to her more than they would had she just broken up with West, ended it, and decided to go on her own way. Especially her in the city cast.
I think Lindsay would for the show of In the City, for sure. I don't know if, like, these people would be friends with Amanda, but I think they definitely would, like, talk to her for the sake of work again.
Mm-hmm.
And Danielle also says she just wishes Amanda took time for herself. Which, like, yeah, girl, you haven't been single in 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Hello? Just take a beat.
Just single. Like,
alone.
You are now in a public relationship again. That is really hard to have your relationship constantly picked over. Even if they did everything right, they would always be picked over because they're public figures.
Also, it's with a guy on the same show as your ex. Like, you couldn't have picked, like, go to Southern Charm like everyone else and, like, have to date one of those terrible white men.
Do a drive-by of Southern Charm cast.
There's so many white men. You like them old and Peter Panish? That is Shep. Come on. It's just Kyle in different clothing.
You're right. The way Summer House and Southern Charm like volley back and forth between their romances is crazy. I need to make
give it a try with Austin.
Chart.
Sierra's over Austin at this point. That would have been a better move. Anyone.
That would have been a good bang.
Hit up JT at this, like anyone.
Maybe not.
Yeah, hey, maybe. She likes him short and ugly.
Whit's new. He doesn't have any connections with anybody.
No, stay away from Whit. Stay away from Whit. I like him.
Wait, I was about to say because he's a good person.
Yeah, go to JT so we can hate you both from afar. You know what I mean? Don't go near Whit. I like him too. I'm still shipping him and Vanita. Anyway, this is the wrong show. So, Amanda understands and knows that she went about the situation wrong. She says she can't go back and change it. And Georgina's like, well, you could a little. And Amanda's like, well, I can't go back and, like, not be honest and, like, change that I lied. And Georgina's like, no, but you could just, like, end your relationship.
You can fix some of this. Like, yes, of course you can't change every lie that you've done, but you can stop being the overall shitty person that you've been this entire time. You can cut that off.
You can stop dating him and posting with him and pretending like you're the victim because everyone yells at you and you're scared to walk out your own home.
And
however,
posting anytime somebody on the Summer House cast does something. It's like, it's obvious. It's so weird the way that they only pop out in public and only post things online when any Summer House news drops.
I'm exhausted. So no one hangs out with Amanda and West. Andy's like, hey, Gavin, they go to your bars? And Gavin's like, they know better than to go to my bar. And Amanda's like, huh? And Gavin's like, no, Amanda would just, like, never do that.
Amanda would never bring this problem to my doorstep is basically what Gavin is saying. Go spend time at the NYU bars.
Yeah. And Amanda's like, we haven't been going out that much. And I'm like, y'all were just outs and abouts in Italy. What are you talking about?
You guys are out and about. It's because they were out and about so much in April and May and got absolutely roasted alive constantly, as they should. Keep a low profile.
So, are they monogamous now? She's like, yeah, we are. And then Andy's like, do you love each other? Which I hate when people are like, oh, that's such a weird question. And it's like, listen, if Sandoval and Raquel had to answer the question, so do all of you.
Also, it's not that weird. It's a very simple yes or no.
Also, if you're gonna blow up your life for this person, you better love them.
You better even if you don't be in love. Even if you don't actually
lie.
Say you do. Lie.
That's what we said. That's what we said with Sandoval. We were like, just say yes.
Yes.
Just be like, yep, blew up my life because we love each other.
Especially and even if you're going to stay together. Like, you have chosen to stay together, lie. Like, you're making it weirder yourself.
She's like, oh, that's so weird. And Lindsay's like, do you say I love you? And she's like, no, not really. And then Danielle was like, love you counts.
Well, then not really. Where's the really part? Like, so you do. And she was like, well, sometimes I say illy. Stop. You blew up your entire life with this man and you're telling him illy?
You know what I think it was? I think, like, when they decided to do this, right, this whole fucking thing, one of them was like, I could see myself loving you. And it's like, yeah, me too. I think they're like, West. We're on the road.
West is saying that shit. And Amanda's like,
yeah. Yeah, I could see myself in the near far future maybe loving you at some point.
Saying I love you.
I'm just going to try everyone else in New York I haven't already fucked, but then if you're still standing here. Whatever.
Because that one time Wes told her he loved her after Kyle had said, fuck you. That counts.
When Andy's like, have you said I love you? And Wes goes, I said it on the show. And we all went, that is very different, sir.
No, that was the Kyle and Wes conversation.
Oh.
Kyle's the one who asked that.
Was that it?
Which is so embarrassing, these two. I'm going to have to clip those two scenes together.
Just
Jesus.
lie. Okay, so Amanda did not watch the reunion, which again pisses me off. But also, maybe not reunions. I need to know if she watched the show.
Reunion doesn't bother me as much.
I need to know if she went back and watched the show.
Because reunion, you do actually live all of that. The show, you do not. And the show was months ago.
Do you think she watched the show?
No.
They don't get Peacock in Italy?
Oh my gosh. You didn't VPN it while you were on your vacation?
That's what they should have been doing instead of spitting into each other's mouths.
Yes, we have bigger priorities, but theirs are different than mine.
But Amanda says she left feeling disappointed by her performance because she wanted to come in and be able to apologize and come off as sad and upset about how she hurt other people.
That was crazy.
Come off.
I wanted to come off. And my performance is what she called it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, you don't care. You wanted to manipulate these people into feeling sorry for you and as if you were sorry, but you're not actually sorry.
Yeah. And then she's like, but I couldn't do that because I went into defense mode because that's my natural instinct. I was like, no, it's not. Defense mode?
Weird. And what are you defending yourself against? That tells me that you think that you did nothing wrong. If you think there's something to defend.
That's the thing is like, okay, even if you want to defend your relationship and you really do love him, there's a way to do that, but also feel bad for how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And like, she's missing the mark over and over and over and over again. Like, we cannot help her at this point. She'll never get it.
I don't think she thinks she did anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, she's just a baby. She's just a girl, you know? She didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that
they would admit that they did wrong was lie to people, but they find that as like a formality.
Yeah, we had to lie to people.
Yeah, to figure out our own feelings, we had to lie to people when it's like, it should have never gotten that far. That's the problem.
So then cast member Nick, who I think this is the only time he talks, he's like, hey, I don't really know West, but the things you were most upset about with Kyle seem like worst with West. And I was like, wow, Nick, how are you? What's going on?
Yeah.
But Amanda's like, that hasn't been my experience with Wes. And I feel like I've gotten a lot from Wes that I haven't ever gotten from Kyle. And Kyle's like what? And she goes...
She doesn't list anything, by the way. She literally has to look up and be like,
She goes, he's supportive. And Kyle's like, let me know when he does his taxes or your taxes and negotiates your brand deals and makes the bed. And Amanda's like, look, I'm not saying that like it always wasn't supportive, but towards the end, there were things that were missing. And Kyle's like, to this day, I'm doing shit to help you. So when you say shit like that, that hurts. And Amanda's like, okay, well, the way Wes talks to me and his actions are different. And Kyle's literally like, I hope you understand that everything people here say is because they care about you and they don't want you to fall into this hole of like isolating all your friends for this man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also, I need Kyle to stand the fuck up. I'm so over him doing everything for Amanda, doing her taxes, like keeping all of her shit in their apartment. If they get a season 2, I need to see him have the backbone that he had in their marriage. Because he did so much shit in their marriage to her that it's like, you're being nicer to her when she did all of this stuff. And I find that so weird.
Andy talks a big game of like, fuck Amanda and Wes, blah, blah, blah. But then at the Summer House reunion, at this reunion, he can't ever just look at her and be like, fuck you for what you did. He has to be like, it wasn't nice, but also like, I'm here for you forever. And I'm like, no.
Because like, I'm not asking him to like exile her from his life. Like they have 10 years of history that I don't understand. And that's okay. But literally get her fucking boxes out of your apartment. Stop doing her taxes.
Yeah, like let her, if if you guys are divorced and she has a new man that is your friend and has blown everything up and you are hurt by this, let that man take care of her.
Handle it.
And
yeah.
I'm not saying like kick her out on the street and leave her homeless, but like you don't have to do these little things to make her life easier. You know what I mean?
It's not even make it easier. It's like to make sure she has zero pain in her life. Everybody has always done everything for Amanda and bubble wrapped her. It's like she's a grown fucking adult. She's what, like 34 years old? Grow up.
Jesus. So Kyle also says that this isn't the first time West has said the right thing to manipulate someone. And then Kenny, listen, I love Kenny trolling Amanda. He, though, is such a little shitster, this guy. He looks at Kyle and he goes, Kyle, you've been very dignified through this whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God, don't get involved.
Also, he hasn't. He has done man on the street interviews. He's done and said
kissing
everything.
Meghan King Edwards. Edmonds, whatever her name is. But Amanda does say Kyle's been great. And then Andy asks Amanda's reaction to the Kyle and Wes convo. And Amanda says she's grateful for Kyle. It shows the love they have for each other, even though their marriage didn't work. And Amanda's very appreciative of Kyle. And they're both like, it's our marriage. It's been a ride. It's like, geez. May this divorce never find me.
Same. And
a
also,
divorce
Amanda,
can find me, but not this one.
No. Amanda acts like she's so grateful for Kyle, but at every chance to shade him and put him down and disparage his name, she does it. So, like, you can't say that, like, you appreciate him and he cares about you and you care about him, because you don't.
Actually, great segment. Let's go talk about single Kyle, because I've never wanted to throw up more than hearing Amanda talk about Kyle's sex life.
And
that was weird, right?
Says it is she's trying. She's digging at him, and he doesn't realize it. Like, she is making fun of him.
Yeah, but she's trying to be like friendly and be like, "No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. This is so pick me girl." Of like, I can't be upset about anything, so I'm gonna like pretend to be upset, but like, I'm cool, girl. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's so odd. She wants Kyle and Wes at the same time.
She wants what she can't get from Kyle from West and what she can't get from West from Kyle.
Yeah.
And they'll both give it to her for some reason, because she must have the most magical boobs in the world, which we know she looks great, but
no, truly. What spell did she put on these two men?
These Peter Pans. Shep is the next victim. He's coming for her.
No, rightfully deserved though with that one. Yeah. Like, destroy Shep's life, please.
No, I think Amanda would have met her match, which he's awful back. I would pay to see those two get together. See what happens. Okay, so we go to single Kyle. Kyle's out here making out with people. He's not very different than married Kyle, but now his makeouts are just in public instead of private.
Which, okay, that makes it sound like he's making out with everybody during their marriage. And until I actually see proof, let's stop with this narrative.
If in 3 weeks he's making out with Sally and Megan and everyone else, and we see videos of it, you can give me videos of the people he was making out with while married.
Or even a, like, thorough story. Because I would believe Amanda. I'm inclined to believe Amanda that Kyle cheated on her. I don't have 100%. High hopes in Kyle, like, being there for her in that way in their marriage. So it's like, give me a real version of events, and I'll be like, sure. But every time it's always like, I heard one time through somebody's sister's friend's uncle that Kyle texted someone that he wanted to be with them.
Great. Like, identify these people. Yes. Let's go. Come on. But Amanda loves hearing about single Kyle. I don't love
hearing about single Kyle, so why would she?
On his tippies, she loves hearing. She's like, oh yeah, did you see his tiptoes? And I'm like, you hate this man.
The tippies is so funny. Watching Amanda make fun of the tippies, not funny.
No, but I love Lindsay making fun of the tippies because she genuinely thought it was hilarious, like we did.
And then Kyle being like, I wasn't.
And then Kyle has now had sober sex, which Amanda's so proud of him.
I was like, stop. Yeah. Stop. You're not proud of him. You're like upset. And like, I can feel that she's annoyed that he's living a life and he's happy and he's free and she can't yell at him for it. And she's annoyed by that. So she's trying to pretend she's like championing him when she's not, because she wants to still be annoyed that he's living this life, the life he has always lived, but she can't be annoyed anymore.
I think it's also a little bit of she can't live her life without being ridiculed now, but people are loving Kyle, whether it be because it's like actually fun. Yeah, or like we're kind of making fun of him because he's making out with Megan King Edmonds, but like that's funny, that's hilarious.
He
could have been flat-footed
about it, but like she is getting like absolutely annihilated for if 100%. She were like when she did kiss West in public. Whereas like we're just like, oh, silly Kyle.
Yeah, no haha jokes there.
No.
So Kenny now, this is where I'll allow Kenny getting involved. Okay, Kenny says, it's great, Kyle's doing Kyle. However, Kenny doesn't believe that Kyle has fully allowed himself to process everything because of how friendly Kyle and Amanda are given the level of betrayal. And Amanda's like, we were actually separated before the West thing, so no betrayal. And Kyle's like, okay, but it's still her.
Girl, that's not, nobody said you cheated on him.
Have we learned nothing? I feel like we've been here for 3 years and she's still not getting it.
And that's why I can't recover. A lot of people online are like, get over it. And I'm like, 1, we're delayed in watching this. And 2, she has not helped with the recovery of this, because I need acknowledgement that you actually feel bad and understand what you did wrong in order to like close this chapter. Yeah. And she doesn't get it.
And how come we can talk about Kyle's cheating from 10 years ago, but we can't talk about Amanda's betrayal from this year? You know what I mean?
Oh my God, so true, Alicia. I never even thought about that.
Yep. So like
because we literally went from Summer House into In the City. This is a top of my topic. This is being discussed at this reunion. Yeah. I have a right to discuss this. But yeah, you're right. Amanda gets to discuss the cheating or any incident from any single time.
But only when it benefits her, because when she's back with Kyle, she doesn't want to hear about it. But then when she's mad at Kyle, we bring it up again. Yep. So Kyle does say there were 2 weeks between the divorce statement and the Super Bowl. And if you remember, Dave Portnoy, my enemy forever, he put out there that he heard from Brianna Chicken Fry, who was at the Super Bowl with Wes, that Wes and Amanda were already a thing at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Amanda's like, yeah, well, that like makes no sense because we weren't together. We were just like texting. And Kyle's like, okay, well, you should check with your guy because he's out here spreading news about you, knowing that it should maybe be a secret or like maybe he shouldn't be. And Kyle says he's still processing, but he feels more betrayed by Wes. They were also, boys.
To the Super Bowl comment, Amanda was like, yeah, like, she was like fumbling around with like if she had confronted West. There is absolutely no world where she confronted West about that, because Amanda struggled to confront Kyle about things. She's not gonna fuck up this like precarious relationship where West is the one who's going to leave it first. Amanda's not going to leave this relationship. So why would she ever confront him about talking about the relationship? Like, let's say it's not true that they weren't together at the Super Bowl. Like, she wouldn't be like, why were you saying those things out, like putting those things out there? Like, that's hurting us. She wouldn't do that. And if it was true, well, it did happen.
He doesn't really care about you, it sounds like.
No.
Oh, but then Amanda's like, why am I getting blamed? You made out with someone before I was even texting Wes. And I was
oh my God.
But it wasn't your friend, Amanda, because how fucked up would it have been if Kyle made out with Sierra, right? That would have fucked you up. Yeah. But he made out with Sally, some random, I don't even fucking know anymore. He makes out with everyone.
And also, like, you are trying to pull his past in to deflect from your stuff constantly.
Yeah.
But you're doing the same thing. So, like, how does that get you out of it? If you kissed or are talking to someone new and Kyle is too, then why are you bringing up Kyle's? Like, if you want to get rid of your own stench, you wouldn't bring up his.
No, it's just like she cannot take accountability.
No.
She cannot.
No. she's never been anything but the victim. So, like, she has to bring up his stuff to be the victim of his life choices.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we gotta talk about Sally and Kyle, because Kyle did it right. He went to Southern Charm. I'm telling you, that's the pipeline.
Dude, it is so messy in that group.
He says he was just in Charleston hanging out with Austin and Craig, which that's fun, because Craig, hello. But yeah, he was hooking up with Sally. And then we bring up that Lala on her podcast said that she heard that Kyle's very good in bed. And Amanda's like, oh, Kyle, why would people know that?
I was like, Amanda, are you actually that dumb?
Unless you were cheating. Unless you were out here cheating.
Literally from Sally.
No,
that was the
he's
most
like,
obvious thing in the world.
He's like, it was from Sally. And she goes, okay, so what were you doing in bed to make it so good? And I was like, damn, Amanda, you wouldn't know. You haven't fucked him in 7 years.
No, truly, you're mad that he's having good sex with someone when you guys chose, I don't know whose like choice it was, but on either side, it's both of your fault to
Sure.
not like have sex, because like, you know, like he's obviously doing stuff for her not to want to sleep with him, but you're mad that he's good in bed? Like,
yep.
What a weird thing to be mad about.
Also, why are we discussing this? This is awful.
It's so weird to me that like her obsession with his dating and sex life after this.
She's like, I love it. I love hearing about it. And I'm like,
I love it so much. And I'm like,
who loves that?
I didn't even date Kyle and I don't love hearing about it.
My God, my high school crush. I don't want to hear about his sex life.
No.
Weird. Anyway, but yeah, Amanda says she's so fine with Kyle having sex. She's like so fine with it.
She's totally fine. So fine.
Gross. Okay. So now we go to Lindsay Hubbard. Thank God I'll talk about anything else at this point. Andrea loves to set Lindsay up with people. And she is still hanging out with Frank the milkman. And Andy's
gagged.
like, I know. And Andy's like, you know, I met Frank when he was dating Kelly Dodd.
Lindsay's like, I know. Like, we don't need to discuss it.
Also, the Summer House to Real Housewives of Orange County pipeline, crazy.
Yep. Wait a minute.
A crazy one.
This connections board is getting bigger in my mind.
This is crazy. And then Lindsay says she's not looking for a serious relationship because she's focused on her daughter and work, and dating's just fun for her, which is Frank the milkman. But co-parenting is going well. She hopes Turner is dating someone because everyone's nicer if they are getting laid. So
true. I like that. See, that's how you champion your ex's sex life without being heavily involved.
Without being weird about it.
Yeah.
I love that he's having sober sex. Yes.
I love it. Oh, but then at the same time, she's like, oh, what are you doing in bed that you're so good at it?
I wish he was having bad sex.
Bad sober sex.
I wish I was hearing about his bad sex life instead of his good one.
That's exactly what she wants, actually.
Okay, so what kind of guy does everyone see Lindsay with? Georgina says ambitious, someone who doesn't take himself seriously. She's like, Dustin would have been a great match. And I'm like, I'm gonna die if these two don't get together.
Oh my God.
Someone handsome and secure that wouldn't be intimidated that she doesn't need him. And then Yvonne says someone who prioritizes Lindsay and values her. Yvonne, though, is still skeptical of Frank, but like fun for now.
Yeah.
And Andrea even says he's like, no. Frank is a fling kind of guy.
Which we said would be that's a good get over your ex, get back in the saddle type
Frank
of
the
guy.
milkman, Kelly Dodd's ex for sure. Yep.
I'm shocked we're still getting in the saddle a
With
year
Frank the
later
milkman.
with Frank.
But you said she's got to fuck Frank the milkman and then move on to like a serious relationship with Dustin. So maybe but
I didn't think that it would be a no shame in the game. I just didn't think that status of getting back in the saddle would be a year. I'm thinking like 3 months with Frank the milkman.
No.
And then 6 months after, like she starts with Frank the milkman. So 3 months Frank the milkman, 3 months of like nothing potentially, and then into Dustin.
Meredith, what have we learned about Lindsay in a timeline? You cannot assign a timeline to her.
Well, the minute you do, it'll never come true.
Look at us. Look at this. She'll never date Dustin at this point.
Okay.
What? because we've assigned it to her.
That timeline has already lapsed. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm not jinxing the future. I'm just saying the past year is not what I thought it was going to go down as.
Whatever. But then Andy asked Danielle, and Danielle says she has learned to not comment on Lindsay's relationships.
It's so funny.
Amanda, that's how you deflect perfectly. But
also, like, Danielle, I need you to be able to comment on Lindsay's and not offend her to the highest level.
Wait,
like,
can I say,
there's an in-between.
I don't know what has happened, but Danielle seems kind of anti-Lindsay this reunion.
And, like,
Kenny and Whitney.
That too. But I was going to say, Anne, like, kind of, I know she, like, kind of got to Amanda at the beginning, but she was a little light on her. That at the end of the season, Danielle goes kind of, like, pro-Amanda, and I kind of feel like she's pro-Amanda in this reunion.
It was weird. And maybe anti-Lindsay's, like, the wrong word, but she's definitely, like, combative with Lindsay.
Ass anymore.
Sure, she's not a minion. But, like, she also just doesn't seem like she wants to be a friend either.
And I think that's Lindsay's problem, is she constantly goes back and forth of, like, she kind of becomes like a little anti-Lindsay.
Yeah.
And then Danielle will want to get back in her good graces when it's gotten to a really, I'm going to call it dark spot, but I don't mean it like that in the Valley sense of, like, where they're at their worst. Danielle wants to get back to, like, the best. But then it just, like, slowly deteriorates again.
She makes, like, little comments, and then you're like, I guess we're not friends, but okay. But Danielle does say she agrees with Georgia and Yvonne, and maybe she needs someone more grounded and, like, ready for life at this point. So Georgina is still single, but her next chapter is going to be dating. It's hard with kids, but she's going to date intentionally.
I like it.
She was really hoping for a while it would work out with the kid's father, but a patient of hers said that her parents split up and both the parents got remarried, and it was just more people to love her. So that's what Georgina's kind of hoping to project with her children.
I think that's a good, like, path forward, because I can only imagine what that's like, is to actually have, like, love and have a relationship with the partner that you created 2 kids with. It isn't like Lindsay's situation where she had a short relationship with her baby daddy and then they broke up. And that's still hard to mourn, but, like, Georgina really started a family thinking she was going to have a singular family unit. But I do think that, like, having that mindset of, like, I'm trying to find a partner to love me, but also to add more love to my kid's life probably does help you, like, go out there with the best foot forward.
So because everyone's having babies now, Lindsay and Georgina are asked to give parenting advice. They say, just go with it. Don't control it because you can't. Get your support system in line. Lindsay's like, I'm here for all of you, including Danielle. Ha ha. But yeah, Lindsay's basically like, do what's best for you and your baby because you know what's best. Right, Andy? And Andy's like, yeah. I forget Andy's a parent all the time. I don't know why. Even though I know he has 2 beautiful children. They're not shown.
It's not like front and center.
They're not shown,
lives.
Yeah. Okay, so now it's time to move on to Kenny. So Andy's like, hey, why is it crazy for Lindsay to say it's a big gesture for your girlfriend to move across the country without a ring? And Kenny's like, no, like, it is a big gesture, but Lindsay's projecting her situation onto me.
And I was like, what?
Everyone immediately
anything onto you.
Yvonne and Georgina immediately are like, what the fuck? And everyone's like, let him finish before the minions come in.
Oh my God. Jesus. Which, okay, because my dad does this where he's always like, you're interrupting me. And I'm like, continue to say your thought. If you're that passionate about it, continue to say it. Why is me talking at the same time as you? What's going to stop you? It's not going to stop me.
Oh, hilarious. So Whitney felt like the, quote, grilling from Lindsay was really intense because Lindsay asked the questions and insinuated judgment on the questions. And Lindsay's like, I was trying to understand. And Whitney's like, what? It came across as insinuating judgment.
Girl.
Huh?
Girl, listen.
Girl, welcome to Bravo.
Lindsay had some judgment in those questions for Kenny. Yes.
Sure.
Was it rightfully placed? Yes. Was it overly judgmental? No.
She was just trying to get what was
answers.
Happening. And when it wasn't aligning with what she thought would be
best for Whitney.
Yeah. She was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
And asked more questions. That's the same thing if someone's like, oh yeah, I punched someone in the face. And you're like, what? Why? And you're like, the judgment's there because why did you do it? And then if they say because they were trying to rob me, you're like, oh, okay. But if you're like, because I felt like it, you're like, what the fuck, weirdo? You know what I mean? Like, we're just trying to get there.
That is a great analogy. And also, Whitney, I think you're going into watching that being upset, and you're adding on the idea that she's judging you, and she's not. She might be a little bit, but like, she's not overly judging you, or like outwardly really portraying that.
I think she was judging Kenny a little bit more than Whitney.
Rightfully so, though, because that's the
Kenny
person
wasn't
to judge
explaining
in this situation.
And he wasn't explaining it to be like, we've been together a long time, we love each other. He was kind of like, yeah, so. And Lindsay's like,
take this seriously.
Yeah, hello. So Lindsay says she wasn't asking questions, or she was just asking questions. And like, she even says, did you catch when I was asking questions about Kenny's dating and your like relationship past? And he kept looking around to make sure you weren't there to hear his answers. Like, that's weird. And Whitney's like, actually, I knew about all that. And Lindsay's like, I don't care. It was the behavior of Kenny.
He doesn't know that. Like, it's not about whether you know the information or not. It's that he's acting sketchy about you hearing things. And that behavior is weird, whether the topic is weird or not.
I don't care if you know, but if you know, why is your man looking out for you to make sure you don't come near?
That was like a cover-up answer to me, because guess what? You could also just like know now. You may not have known that day, but he's like clearing house to make sure that like everything's clean and tidy so he can't get in more trouble. And to be honest, I actually don't think you did really know that stuff. I think you're just saying it so you guys don't look worse.
Yeah, you came into this as a unit because you're plotting. Yeah.
Which, like, I get it. I understand why you're defending your relationship, but, like, you have to understand why we look at it differently than you.
It's also not hard to just be like, hey, when I watched it back, it seemed like Lindsay was just trying to understand the situation, and it came across, like, a little intense for me personally, but I get it was coming from a good place. Yeah. Or, like, I'm sure it wasn't malicious. And said Whitney's like, you were insinuating judgment. And it's like, that's your opinion, girl. Whitney. Insinuating?
Also, I hate when reality TV stars are like upset when somebody asks questions. It's my biggest ick. Honestly, with people in general, but especially about reality TV, because as an audience member, you need people to ask questions on camera in order for us to learn information. So, like, you're mad because I asked you a question. Really?
Yep. It's crazy. So then Kenny starts talking over Lindsay, trying to explain like where she was coming from, because he has to clear up the timing of his hookups with other people. And Lindsay says, when I can finish, let me know, gaslighter. I don't know why I found that so funny. Which I was like, okay,
he's not gaslighting you, he's just talking over you.
So it was in line with like Westeropathy, where she just says something and it's like, whoa, but it was awesome. So Kenny says he was going through hard times, and Lindsay's like, okay, misogynistic, narcissist.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You cannot go toe to toe.
Oh, we're not seeking resolution between these two at all.
And Whitney's like, oh my god, that's not true. And Lindsay's like, well, when can I finish speaking? And Lindsay says she was making a point saying Whitney was committing hard for Kenny, so don't fuck it up. And that's Lindsay taking the perspective of a female. So, like, don't fuck around on the girls. And she was trying to be supportive of Whitney. And if they can't understand that, then they have a very different mindset of Lindsay. And Whitney's like, I actually didn't take it that way. And Lindsay's like, okay, we're different. We're different people then.
And I wish Whitney could have heard what Lindsay said right there and been like, I appreciate that. Thank you, if that was your intention. Can't you just appreciate her going to battle for you? Because I do genuinely think that was her intention in that conversation.
I do too. I don't think there was anything malicious towards Whitney about it. No. I think there was some judgment towards Kenny to be like, wow, your girlfriend's doing a lot, and it seems like you are not recognizing that.
Yeah, but because Whitney is so Kenny-centered in her, like, him being attacked, she probably feels attacked rather than supported. That, like, her priority is Kenny not being attacked, not her being in a safe relationship who is seen and valued. And, like, that shows so much about how she, like, views that experience.
Dude, Whitney is Amanda if Amanda wasn't on reality TV for 10 years. Her and Wes.
Yeah,
This
because
is it.
like reality TV has gotten better. I tell people who go back and watch Summer House, I'm like, reality TV wasn't the same 10 years ago. Like you got to ease into it. It's a lot more, you got to be a lot more like ready for battle
Yeah.
in reality TV these days. That Amanda got to ease into this stuff. And Whitney is like Amanda
Thrown
from
into
10
it.
years ago being thrown into this.
Yeah. But like Whitney and Amanda are like two sides of the same coin.
They're
One's
the same
just
side.
one was just on Bravo longer.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So then, oh my God. I hate this whole conversation because we get like zero resolution. So we bring up how Kenny's gonna go off on Lindsay for like judging his relationship when Kenny told Kyle that he was questioning if there were sparks in the first episode. Like it seems like Lindsay just clocked him. And Kenny's like, listen, I was in a place of being numb for long-term things working out. And he says he had his 2 very long relationships that didn't work out, and then his mom died. And so he didn't have a spark with long-term things. It could have been anything.
Oh my God. I hate when people just like can't use words appropriately because that's not what a spark is.
It's not what you said. You said there's no spark with Whitney, basically.
Yeah.
That's how it was insinuated, Kenny. We're going to talk about insinuations.
Yep.
It was insinuated like that. And Andy's like, so you were scared. And Kenny's like, I was grieving. And that's like a me thing.
They loved a word salad, everything, Kenny and Whitney. And I'm like, so what was the problem? Was it you didn't see your future, or were you grieving, or did you not have a spark? Like, what is it then? Because you're constantly coming up with new things to get out of the old thing.
I mean, it's the same thing with Lindsay and the mom card. It's like we were mad about that, but it was actually related to Yvonne's friendship, but it was actually related to her having a nanny. Yeah, it was. So Whitney's thoughts on the situations. She said she didn't believe he would ever say that. And like, she was right. Because when she talked to him after that talk in the park with Lexi, she was like, we were good. I was like, oh, okay, great.
Oh, okay,
I'm
but
glad.
what happened when you watched it on camera and he did say
100%.
it? What happened there?
So Gavin then is like, hey, everyone, I'm going to stick up for Kenny for a second. And Georgina goes, are you sure?
Georgina is so fucking funny. Whatever she says, even if she's in the wrong, sure? I'm like, you're so quippy. I love it.
So Gavin says Kenny was immediately defensive, and Kenny probably should have learned from Amanda to like not be so defensive. And Andrea says he just feels like Kenny lacks explanation and like he's not held accountable for what he says because he just says shit, and then when people take it the way that they take it, he's mad at them.
I agree with that fully. I think that's the issue, is he can say anything he wants. And then when people try to hold him to what those words mean, he gets upset with people taking the literal definitions of words he said. And then he wants to word salad out of it and then be mad that people are still stuck on the initial words he said and don't take the new words he said. But then if they do take the new words, then he's also upset on that. So it's like, mean what you say what you mean.
100%. Question for Gavin. Can't believe you called Whitney boring to her face. And someone goes, they're still together, so it can't be that boring. And I was like, yes, it can.
That's not true. That's not what boring means. Like, I fear that we're having an issue in America with words.
Listening.
It's like actually driving me nuts because I see it on a lot of shows. I see it in the comments on our social posts. Like, I'm like, that's not what that means. Also, like, boring and a successful relationship, both can happen. They're not mutually exclusive.
A lot of people have boring relationships. My parents have a very boring relationship. They've been married for like 32 years.
Yeah. Like, boring and stable are kind of synonymous. I'm going to be honest. Like, like,
it's all about what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gavin also says he didn't call Whitney boring,
and
he called their relationship boring, which agreed. But then Gavin feels like they're trying to project and not be honest with themselves. And Lindsay says Whitney has a tutorial on how to make toast. And I was like, whoa, talk about boring.
I think both are true. I think Whitney is boring. I think their relationship is boring. And I think that they don't want it to be boring because of social media. I think they have to like live these exciting lives in the TV show, and they want to project to other people that they're living this exorbitant life and like just settle into who you are. You're a little boring compared to, like, to be honest, Psycho Lindsay. Like, you on the scale of this show are a little boring.
And listen, Whitney, I say this, I hold your hand while I say this, okay? You traveling and doing fun things, that does not mean you're not boring as a person, because Lindsay could be trapped in a closet by herself and it would still be exciting, and you could have a TV show where you travel the world and it could still be boring. It's a personality thing, okay? And I'm not saying you are boring, but I'm saying you're on reality TV with a lot of great personalities. So in comparison, yeah, I think you're pretty boring. I think in the overall general public, you're probably average personality as far as boring to exciting. But I think on this show, you know who gets cast on reality TV? The most exciting, outrageous people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think your personality for reality TV is quite boring. It's very like laced up and good girl, and I like to eat clean and do Pilates and drink my matcha, and like I like to wash my hands and be in shower all the time and be put together. I don't care. I don't care about any of it.
It's very mainstream, and unfortunately, mainstream things can be boring. It's like Stassi's version of Loving Ranch. It's like, okay, like, and
it's very like, hey everyone, get ready with me, and then you tell like the most boring story about how like you got a PR package and
the most predictable story.
Yeah, she does make toast. Like that describes Whitney to me. And listen, I'm probably also boring. I'm not on reality TV. Okay? I think in comparison to the overall general public, I'm probably pretty average too. I probably would be kind of boring on reality TV because I'm just not going to want to get involved.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not cast, Whitney. And also, The Bachelor's boring. I said it. I said it.
You weren't even on it that long. So
you weren't even on it that long.
Kind of boring.
They dumped you. You were quite boring. And all those girls are kind of boring. So like, that's
You're
crazy,
the boring
girl.
Of the boring.
Hello. We're really hitting on her. But sorry.
He didn't say she was boring. He said your relationship was boring. And I will die on that hill because their relationship is boring.
It's boring to watch, okay? It's boring to watch. The only excitement
we had was when people questioned it, and you got mad about that.
Yeah. Listen, I somehow would rather watch Andrea and Lexi, who gave me close to nothing too. But at least Andrea has an 8-pack that he shows us.
Yes.
So and Lexi doesn't seem to mind him flaunting that, so I'll take it. If Kenny had a 6-pack, I feel like Whitney would be like, "Don't take your shirt off. Don't show everyone."
100% agree.
Just for me, you know. So boring. What's the Abby Lee Miller where she's like, boring, useless? That's how I feel about this relationship.
The way we are making them interesting by talking about how boring.
We're bullying them.
We're not bullying.
She's gonna cease and desist us for bullying because that's how boring she is.
Well, you could send one, but you cannot take legal action over somebody calling you boring.
That's how boring she is. Is we make her relationship exciting, and she's gonna sue us. Anyway, it's so good. So, does Kenny agree with the take that Gavin is used to toxic situations and is only used to seeing Kenny miserable?
That is such like insane thing to be read about your friend. If that was read,
I'm crying. I also
was read by someone to you about our friendship, I would be like, whoa.
I'd be like, yeah, I love seeing you know what? I would just double down and be like, I love seeing her miserable. It brings me great joy. Because then that would be funny and we could riff a little bit.
Hey. Do you think Meredith is a miserable life and only loves toxic relationships?
Yep, and I enjoy it. I love watching her complain and be single and stupid and cry. Yeah,
the only way I like her.
What a weird. I actually catfish her just to make it more miserable. Like, what the fuck? But they wouldn't call our friendship boring. That's exciting.
Yeah, but Kenny Gavin doesn't seem like he's leaving a boring life.
I also have a question. When they said seeing Kenny miserable, he was in 2 very long-term relationships for 8 and 11 years. Was he miserable?
Maybe, I guess.
The death of his mom, I get miserable for sure. The breakups, I also get miserable. But 11 years, and you're gonna tell me he's miserable?
And it's not like they were like 2-3 year relationships where then he was just like out and about in this miserable toxic cycle that maybe Gavin's obsessed with. Yeah, there wasn't much time for fuckboyery.
Was it a Kyle and Amanda kind of miserable? Because that's
maybe.
Whoa, we don't know.
Maybe.
So Gavin looks at Kenny and goes, think before you answer. And Kenny says, part of it is that Gavin has been in toxic and passionate relationships, and Kenny's been in those too, but his and Whitney's relationship is very grounding and safe, and it might come across as boring, but it's regulating, and Gavin cannot understand that. And I was like, that's how you defend your boring relationship.
I'm like, okay, stop, like, getting so stuck on the word boring and just be like, if you guys think stable is boring, then fine, my relationship is boring. I'm happy.
Yeah. But Gavin says he loves Whitney, but it's annoying that they say that their relationship is all travel and excitement, and Gavin wants them to be honest that it's not perfect. And I was like, okay, but here's the thing. You can still have travel and excitement and be boring.
And but also, you can have a good relationship in travel. You can have a bad relationship in travel. I feel like we're trying to boil it down to it has to be an all or nothing thing. Yeah. It's like all of this can exist all at once.
And also, Gavin, like, I don't like how Gavin's like, just say your relationship's not perfect, but you're putting out that you're traveling all the time. And like, listen, I think traveling with someone you love is the most stressful part. I think that's when your relationship is least perfect.
Agreed.
So like, it doesn't have to, they're not, I think they are projecting that like their relationship is very good.
I agree, but not to the boring or travel stuff. It's more about the spark comment makes me think that they're trying to project perfection.
I think Gavin's also like kind of missing that, but I just don't think these three have any idea what's kind of going on.
Me too, because to be honest, when Gavin said the boring comment, it was off the back of the Dustin Lynch rooftop night where the spark comment came to a head. So Gavin's original conversation on this was like off of the right stuff, but now we're getting lost at the reunion, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're in the like crevices of this relationship that do not matter.
No, and like, listen, Andy, appreciate you. I feel like for a lot of reunions, you'll usually try and clarify what people are trying to get across. You really just let them kind of run in every single direction.
Yeah.
In the murkiness. Whoa, don't use murky.
Another word that we don't like on this show.
My God, Whitney just added another complaint to us. Okay, so on Watch What Happens Live, Jasmine from the Valley said that the most fame-hungry contestant from The Bachelor is Whitney. Which, hilarious. Do these two know each other?
They have to know each other from the Bachelor franchise. But
there's 1,000 women.
I know, but like, of course Jasmine is going to say the other Bachelor person that's on Bravo. Like, come on. This is smart PR a little bit to like kick off some drama, have a squash the beef at BravoCon. Like, I didn't take this so seriously. Like, get a grip, Whitney. If you're holding on to this, come on.
I'd be like, and I am fame hungry. That's why I make toast tutorials, because I'll do anything to get my name out there. Have fun with it. I hate when people like get something, someone says something about you and you immediately like have to get offended.
Yeah.
Like, just, you can laugh about shit.
You can defend yourself and be fun with it. Because, like, she could have been like, I didn't even want to do this show anyways, and look how it worked out for me. If this is the fame I got, I'm fame hungry.
I'm going toe-to-toe with Lindsay Hubbard. Jasmine doesn't even know her. Yeah. That's what I would have said something. But Whitney, she's like, I didn't even go that far on The Bachelor. I'm like, not that fame hungry. And I was like,
that's the proof?
That actually makes it worse, is that you didn't go that far and you're still pursuing a public image.
And you know what I mean? And also, like, the way you talk about, like, oh, I didn't go far on The Bachelor tells me that you, like, clock where your fame hit in The Bachelor franchise. Yeah. Like, you're still thinking about that this many years later.
I don't know. But Georgina goes, she really drives by these Kenny and Whitney and just shoots and scores.
Crazy.
Georgina's like, I would actually prefer if you said you were with him to be on TV than you actually liked him. And I was like, whoa, Georgina hates Kenny so much.
Yes.
I was dying.
And she wants to shade them as much as possible. And they are so unprepared for Georgina's comments. Both, like, she comes out of nowhere with them in a great way. Like, just catches them off guard. she has such good zingers, and it's rooted in some truth that it's like, it's hard to defend against, and Whitney is so unprepared for this.
Yeah. When I tell you it is a drive-by because they cannot get Georgina back, it is like they don't even see it coming. It hits, and then they're just dead in the water. It's the craziest shit. But honestly, like, same, because I don't get the appeal of Kenny. I hate him. I'm his number one hater. I'm sorry.
I can understand. I think I could visualize him with someone he had a better spark with. I don't get his relationship with Whitney.
Sure.
Like, I don't see it. I don't see that they, like, are really into each other. I think Kyle and Amanda have more chemistry than those two.
Kenny and Lindsay have more chemistry. Remember the dark meat comment?
Yes, and there was a comment, I think, at some point in this reunion episode, and I was like, oh, they've got their chemistry still there.
Kenny was like, oh, you look minion yellow. You look good.
Yes.
And I was like,
in front of
stop
Whitney?
flirting with her. I was like getting sweaty. And I'm like, the girl who makes toast, who's your girlfriend, is in the back.
Behind you. What?
You do that.
I know.
Okay, so Whitney's like, I didn't even want to do the show. And Andrea's like, actually, I do think you guys actually like each other, and it's not for TV. Which I was like, that's not what Georgina was saying. Georgina wishes that, like, it was just for TV, because that's how much your relationship sucks.
Yeah,
you know?
she'd be like, at least you're bringing something to the table.
Yeah, and then Kenny's like, the spark is better than ever. Don't you see it? Do you see the spark?
No, I don't.
Whitney starts crying because she can't believe that people would think that she's with Kenny for fame. I'm sorry. I'm like, girl, Amanda was with Kyle for fame, and that lasted 10 years. And look, Amanda got 1 million followers on Instagram, so it could work.
And not even just straight up fame, because she's like, we were together before this show was even on the table. It's like,
yeah,
okay,
but Kenny's
I don't
rich
care.
too.
That is like, it's
Kenny's
not just
rich.
about the show. It's like, we don't think you're into him, and that's the point we're trying to make. So then you're like hanging on to him in this kind of shitty, boring relationship because he has money, and then a show comes along. I would also jump, girl. I would get on the show if I was dating that man.
Just say it. Here's the thing. I think that Whitney likes what Kenny provides in the sense of a lifestyle. And I think Kenny likes what Whitney provides in the sense of comfort and safeness and emotional
predictability.
Yeah,
like
emotional
she's
support.
Kind of boring, so it's just like it is.
But here's my thing. I think they could have easily said, like, there are benefits with being with each other. However, we do like each other. You can acknowledge, like, I love my boyfriend and he's super rich. You can say both.
I hate that constantly it has to be either or. And, like, I feel like they could have won more of the audience over if they just acknowledged that, like, yeah, I have been on 2 shows. And does that look like it's fame hungry? That's for other people to decide. But, like, I'm not out here chasing Kenny for the show. Like, I think that would have gone a long way for her to be like, I have been on 2 shows. I'm not out here searching for a new one constantly, but like, it just fell into my lap. So we took it. Yeah.
Hey, he offered it to me and I said, I gotta pay for my $30,000 closet somehow.
There we go.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, Amanda's like, oh my God, people said the same thing about me. And I was like, and we still do.
But I was like, Amanda, you're not helping her with that.
And Georgina, like, clarifies. She's like, I'm not saying it's the case. I'm saying I wish it was the case because I don't like how Kenny treats you. And she says one thing is that Kenny wants Whitney to be friends with everybody in the group, but then he fights with everyone in the group. And, like, maybe he should have been nice and not attacked everyone.
I'm so happy she said that because that was a key point you and I talked about is how do you beg everybody to be friends with Whitney and everybody's mean for not making Whitney the center of their life while Kenny is actively putting, like, a division in space between you guys.
Yeah. So Kenny says that maybe he can own it, but he doesn't at all, and then says he felt like he had to defend his relationship and he didn't enjoy hanging out with the group, but he wasn't, like, attacking everyone. Well, he was basically like, I'm the victim and I have to defend myself.
Which I'm like, you had to defend your relationship against things you said. People didn't make this up. I understand when something gets said, you want to, like, comment back and say you're wrong because of XYZ. But you fought 10 times harder than you ever needed to against your own self. That's all on you.
So Yvonne says it was hurtful to watch Kenny talk about them when he had just met them a week before. Like,
That's
calling
crazy.
them minions, a mean girl crew. And Yvonne says it made it seem like they were going to gang up on Whitney and not give her a chance. But Yvonne says it actually came across very isolating and creating a nasty environment.
Yes. Finding out that they did not know each other and that they'd only known each other for 10 days by the time they started filming. Kenny, you were saying a whole lot of comments about people you know nothing about. Like, that's someone who's coming in judgmental.
It gives plotting.
Ooh.
It gives plotting.
Yep.
But then Danielle comes in and says Yvonne would only hang out with her because Lindsay was okay with her. So if Lindsay didn't like Whitney and Kenny,
which, like, that's
Yvonne
not what Yvonne was saying. She was saying, like, I'm gonna hang out with you anyways. Like, Lindsay's cool with it, but I think Yvonne would still do that scene with Danielle and Owen, A, because you want a scene, and B, I don't think she does have any issues with Danielle on a simple, like, we can get lunch basis.
100%. That was a weird thing. And then, Kenny says if they all have the same opinions at the same time, that's a group mentality. And I was like, no.
That's not what group mentality
means. That's not it. No. He's
coming to the same
nuts.
conclusion doesn't mean you're having group think. You're more likely to come to the same conclusion if all you do is talk to each other and ruminate on it with each other. But to be honest, they clock the same thing separately a lot of the times.
Or they're all sitting there and Kenny goes, this is a mean girl crew, y'all are minions, and they all go, we're not
what
minions.
What the fuck? Yeah.
You're rude for saying that. And now
You're
he's like, group mentality.
All of them.
Group mentality.
And they're all pushing back.
The group mentality's after me because I said something rude to the group. Jesus fuck. Okay, so then Lindsay gets a question about how can she be upset with Danielle for having opinions about her relationship because it seems like Lindsay just wants loyal friends. And Lindsay's like, that's not true. Yvonne is one of the biggest devil's advocates always with me, which we did see even with Frank the Milkman. Yvonne was like, I'm not going to like him. She's like, Georgina is very highly opinionated. Danielle has opinions. And Lindsay says it's more about like big discussions being made in someone's life and having them figure it out for themselves versus taking over the decision, which I don't think Lindsay like got her point across great in this scene. No. What I honestly think it is, I think it's more of like, if you disagree with Lindsay, maybe tell her like on the side and not in a public place, like how Danielle publicly at her engagement party was very upset that Lindsay got engaged. Whereas like maybe she could have separately been like, Lindsay, don't you think this is moving fast? Or the way Danielle around the summer house talked behind Lindsay's back about how it was moving very fast.
But I think it's also bold to say that she has minions just because when Lindsay doesn't like your opinion, she tells you. Like, why is that a bad thing? You're holding that against her because she expresses herself and voices her opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, sorry?
Yeah. So Lexi does not think that these friends are a mean girl crew because she considers them her friends as well. Which I was like, yeah, Whitney's one fucking friend. Pick your side, Lexi.
Okay, because someone who is deemed on the nice side says they're her friends too. They can't be mean. Like that isn't actually helping the argument's sake of it, though. But I appreciate her being like, no, they're not mean girls. But I'm like, I don't think sharing an opinion doesn't make you mean.
Yeah, it's just you don't like Whitney and Lindsay are two different like women, right? I would say Whitney's more aligned with Amanda and like a very meek personality and very quiet, not necessarily weak, but like won't yell her opinion. Whereas if Lindsay doesn't like something, she's gonna tell it to you immediately. So's Yvonne, so's Georgina. Like that's just their opinions. And I think Whitney and Kenny both don't like that because Kenny seems to also like meek women, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that someone like Whitney takes it as an attack when someone says their opinion, talks loudly, is very assertive. Like that can come off as yelling. Mm-hmm. If like Lindsay does yell, but like even if she was just assertive and at a neutral tone, Whitney would think she's yelling at her. When 100%. That's not the case.
Lexi says it's great. Everyone feels like they can have their own opinions and share those without being silenced or being led by someone else. And Danielle's like, however, it is really lonely on the outside, which I want to be like, girl, shut the fuck up.
you guys kind of built this cage, though. You pushed a lot of people away.
Yeah.
And now you're mad that they don't want to interact with you.
And Lindsay's also like, look, dude, I filmed Summer House where I was the oldest cast member for like 5 to 6 years. And Amanda's like, yeah. And Lindsay's like, listen, I know what it's like to be on the outside, but you have to like make the best of it. Which I don't know if Lindsay was necessarily by herself, but I do think there was a crew of girls in the Summer House that Lindsay was not a part of, and she dealt with it.
Yeah, there were definitely two sides in the Summer House. Lindsay had people, but when it came to the girls, it's not like Danielle was like that much of a loyal minion soldier by any means. Like Lindsay fought a lot of battles on her own against Amanda, Sierra, Paige, Hannah. Yeah. Like that is difficult. And she often went against Kyle. So I think Lindsay does understand what it's like to be on an island on your show. Mm-hmm. But I do think Lindsay is also built different to be able to take that. And that's okay. But that doesn't mean Whitney should be on an island by herself. But Whitney needs to understand on like, from the get-go, we've said this, how to reach out, how to make those connections. She did none of that. She took no responsibility for any of that. They actively push people away while filming. And then they want to go, I'm on an island. Girl, you dug around yourself and poured a moat. You made an island. You did that. 100%. And your boyfriend helped do that. He isolated you from a lot of people.
Your boyfriend actually brought the water to isolate you. Yeah. So Amanda pipes in and she's like, hey, you know what we do at reunions? We hear, we listen, and we learn. And we don't jump on each other. And Kenny's like, yeah, Amanda, I agree with you. I was like, oh, that's fun. When was the last thing Amanda learned at a reunion?
When did you listen?
That sounds weird. So Kenny apologizes for using the word minion, which again, I'm like, it's not about the wording. It's what it insinuates. If we want to talk about insinuations again, Jesus. And then Yvonne says it seems like Kenny made up his mind about the girls without actually giving them a shot. And Amanda says, hey, Kyle, can you tell Kenny that when he apologizes, he shouldn't follow up with the word but?
This is what I'm saying. She will attack Kyle at any point she can. I'm like, why did you need to drag Kyle into this?
Kyle, didn't you learn that at one point?
Haven't you had to learn how to apologize, Kyle? You're not so great at it either.
Yeah. So let's get to the Kenny reuniting with his dad. Can I tell you, I talked to a girl at work about this, and I was like, yeah, I said something like, oh, I hate Kenny, but like I can appreciate his journey with his father. And this girl at work was like, oh, I hated that because it was so planted to give Kenny a good edit. And she goes, why did he wait until he was on a show to find his father? And then magically his father can come to New York immediately to film. I was like, oh.
Okay, I think it absolutely was like timed. Like, but you know what? I will never fault someone for like giving themselves a storyline. Like, 100%. I understand the hustle of a show. But, I didn't like how fake it kind of is. How perfectly packaged it is frustrating.
Yeah. I thought though it would have been like received because I was like, oh, I can apprappreciate that he had these issues, and she was fully like, no, it made me hate him even more.
That's the one thing that got me.
I was like, whoa, maybe I'm not strong enough with my hate. Someone's out hating me.
There was also discourse online when that episode aired, and we are behind, so it's different, that it was heavily staged and that he maybe was in contact with his dad prior, I think, or at least with the step siblings.
The PI was fake? No way. The world's worst PI?
I also saw a comment that one of the step siblings Kenny was in contact with and told Kenny he would let them know when they found... When Kenny found the dad, because I guess the step siblings also aren't in contact with the dad.
Oh,
some of them. I don't know how many siblings are out there, but Kenny never told the step sibling that he did get in contact. And so like the step sibling was like posting online, like frustrated. And then Kenny, I think, commented like, I don't know these step siblings. Like, I don't actually have a relationship with them. So, like, my journey in connecting with my dad is completely separate from theirs. But still, if you, like, have contact information and you promised it, you should have given it.
Okay, well.
So, like, I wonder if that's why. Like, we weren't in the online discourse of what was going on. We got to just take it at face value.
It's been kind of nice to be out of the online discourse. It's like old time, like, when you just would watch the show. Yeah. Okay, so Kenny's reuniting with his dad. He said it was very unexpected. He's still in shock. They speak weekly. He's met some of his half-siblings. Not all of them, it sounds like. Lindsay and Kenny spoke about their separate abandonment issues with their parents. And this is why Lindsay's a good reality star, because even though she's beefing with Kenny, she genuinely looks at me and is like, watching Kenny with his dad was very emotional, and I'm like very happy for him. And Lindsay says they do have two different situations though. Like Kenny's dad didn't know where to find him, whereas like Lindsay's mom has her number, knows where to find her, and like truly doesn't care. So.
Yeah, it's a different heartache, and that's so tough. I always like feel for Lindsay when it comes to that.
But Lindsay says being impacted by her mom has affected the way she wants to be with Gemma. And Andy says it's honestly amazing how good you are with Gemma and the mom you are. And Lindsay says she doesn't even have to try that hard to break the cycle because she'll always show up as a mom to Gemma. Oh, I love Lindsay.
I know. Okay. But I think that's where we kind of say it like, oh, did Gemma heal her? I don't think Gemma can ever fully heal her because it should just be that easy. And I think Lindsay seeing that it is that easy makes the lack of support from her mom being, like not being in her life harder, because it's like at some level you should be able to show up.
I think it's almost like a different type of heartbreak where it's like, oh, Gemma healed like one part of me, but then broke another part, in the sense of like now Lindsay's realizing how easy it really is.
Yeah, that's true.
But Lindsay says, like, all parents can try to do is their best and show unconditional love. And that's all a kid really needs, is to be loved. And it's not hard to give your child love. And Whitney says she has noticed a change in Kenny since he got his dad back in his life. Kenny and Whitney are talking about their future, possibly getting engaged this year. And they're confident in the place their relationship is in.
You know what? If that works for you, great.
Okay, let's talk about babies, because Whitney wants a kid one day. And Owen Speldiana is like, oh, a little minion? Go up, Owen! Hell yeah!
He gives you one line every few episodes.
Keep him in my city, hell yeah. Okay, let's talk about the single mom card comment. And oh God, we all don't know how to apologize anymore in the world. It is the way people apologize for using certain words, or like, I'm sorry, but, or like, I'm sorry I said that, and I'm sorry you were upset about that.
It's like people want to push the responsibility off rather than on like what they did and how they impacted other people. Is like, oh, well, you just took that poorly. Like, I didn't do anything wrong in the, like, me sending the message. It's like you took it wrong in the receiving. And it's like, no, what you said was fucked up. And just be like, no, I was absolutely mad at Lindsay. I said some out-of-pocket things and I'm sorry.
Let me end this reunion so I could be like, let's talk about insinuating again, because why is it sometimes okay? Okay, so Whitney apologizes for using that term. She feels like that was far from the point she was trying to get across, and she respects Lindsay and Georgina as mothers and doesn't want to disregard that. She just wanted to instead stand up for Yvonne and Yvonne's friendship with Lindsay. And I was like,
okay, this can be a strong start if this is actually what you mean. And if you say, I chose to take you down by using you as a mom to like funnel my frustration about this. And it really was about Yvonne in that room. But it constantly backtracks even in this reunion.
Yeah. Well, Whitney says, I'm sorry that, Lindsay, that you took it in the way that you did. What?
Girl, you meant it.
That's how you said it. That's how you said it.
Come on.
You said it. And then we watched you say it, and you're like, I didn't mean it like that. Sorry, that's how you took it.
When you doubled and tripled down on it, too.
Well, then Lindsay's weirdly willing to forgive the single mom comment, because she's like, let's talk about the nanny comment you made. Like, you doubled down that I had a nanny.
I think she's trying to prove a point.
Well, I think it's mostly, and what I think is most damning for Whitney is when Danielle at the grocery store was like, oh, I heard you made a single mom comment. You would never. And Whitney's like, not only did I say that, but I'm going to diss the nanny. And so Lindsay's like, so you doubled down? What was that?
Yeah.
And Lindsay says she was horrified watching it. It was like even worse than what was explained to her.
It was you're right. The grocery store setting was the worst part of it, because
even
said
Danielle,
that with her full chest. Danielle said, "Hey, you should walk that back," and she said, "No, let me double." What does Leah say on Love Island? Like, times it by a million, make it worse. Like, that's what she did.
whatever you don't like about me. Yeah.
Times it by a million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, make it worse. Hell
Yes,
yeah.
that's what Whitney did to herself.
No, and even Danielle was like, ooh,
Girl.
that is bad. But Georgina says it was even the comment about how other single mothers don't have help. So, like, what is that about? Like, single mothers shouldn't be able to, like, hang out with their friends. They should always be home and not have nannies.
Whether they have help or not. Like, that's what I don't get with Whitney. Like, where were you going with this? What's the point? And that's why if you just literally said, I shouldn't have said it, it was out of pocket, like, we would not have to go into how you are a bad person for all of this. If you just owned up to it from the front.
No, literally. And I cannot stress enough, like, yes, some people can pay for nannies, and that is awesome that those people have the means to do that. However, some people have a village that is able to help for free.
Yeah.
And I cannot stress enough, my parents could never afford a daycare or nannies, but my grandparents were retired. So guess where my grandma was? She was basically our nanny. And Lindsay's family is in fucking Florida. So she's got to hire the nanny, okay?
It's like, why are you shaming how people have childcare and then, like, raise their children and how they make time to go make money? Because, to be honest, the reason that she's on this trip is to make money for Gemma. This is a work trip. Let's be for real. Like, yes, we can have fun. Yes, we can get drunk. But this is work.
She'd rather be at home with Gemma. But guess what? She's got to pay for all the things Gemma needs. And so she's got to also pay for a nanny so that nanny can take care of Gemma while she works. It's like a full circle.
Yeah.
I like cannot. Okay, so Georgina appreciates the gesture of the apology, but believes Whitney did kind of mean it. And she was just annoyed that they took the room.
I agree. To be honest, I don't even think it actually has anything to do with the room. I think the room was a vehicle to unleash anger about Lindsay. Because they always make the room thing about Yvonne. So it's like, the room isn't really about Lindsay. It's you are so mad about Lindsay's life.
I think Kenny wanted Kenny and Whitney together, but mostly Kenny was like, I'm going to do this great thing, get this great edit because I'm doing this really amazing gesture. And then when Lindsay said, nope, Kenny's like, well, she just ruined my plan. Kenny and Whitney give very calculative and like plotting on how they want to come across. It gives very fake and like...
Yeah. And that's why their story doesn't really make sense whenever they're, like, mad at Lindsay on that trip. Because, like, in order to be able to tell the real story, you would have to talk about production or the edit and how you're frustrated and, like, what Lindsay just did to you.
Yeah.
But you can't say you're mad at what Lindsay just did to you because the did to you is take away your good edit. So you have to say that they took away a room from Yvonne and Nick. But then your anger with her is not about them. So then, like, everything you say after doesn't line up.
Also, can I say, I get Yvonne and Lindsay had beef about the wedding or whatever that was. But if I was Yvonne and Nick, I'd also be like, hey, don't you worry about my relationship with Lindsay. You're not involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'd almost be like, no, I appreciate that you wanted to get involved, but I'd be like, I
kind of look down on Yvonne for not ever being like, can you get out of our fight? Because like, our fights are 1-to-1. If I have a friendship issue, what are you getting involved in? Especially when you're not friends with us. Like, I understand friends meddling to, like, try to mend things. I still hate it. But it's like, who the fuck are you, Kenny? Who are you, Whitney?
You want to know the quickest way, like if we're fighting, the quickest way for us to get out of a fight is for someone else to put their 2 cents in, and I'll immediately be like, Meredith and I are going to team up against you now.
Now I'm pissed at you.
Yeah.
We got to work our shit out because now I'm angry that you're getting involved.
We're together now, and that is our enemy. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, so Georgina says, if Kenny really wanted to do this gesture, he should have talked to Lindsay about it as the co-host.
Bingo.
And Kenny's like, well, when you get to a house, usually like talk about rooms. And Lindsay's like, but that's not what happened. You said everyone go pick a room, and then when people did, you suggested it in front of everyone, which was also crazy because, like, if I'm Gavin, right, and someone says pick a room, I'm gonna go find like a small little one bed so that I can just post up, right? Why is everyone gathered around being like, hey, right in front of the master bedroom? I think we should give that to Yvonne and Nick, right?
It is very
It's giving
performative.
showman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And then Kenny, or whatever. So then Kenny's like, oh, so this whole room situation was my fault? And Lindsay's like, yeah.
It's like,
There's no fault, maybe.
Trying so hard to make Lindsay the villain on this that it's like nobody's a villain for room picks. It's like that doesn't need to be a villain title. Like, we deal with it every year in Summer House. It should be a blip on the radar, but you guys made this into a whole thing, and you guys made yourselves the villains of this. So yeah, it is your fault because you made this a big deal.
Yeah. And then oh my God, Danielle, shut the fuck up, girl. She says it sounded like a pivot in the car because of how much they fucked up Yvonne's wedding. And Lindsay's like, okay, sure, but no one told us.
Like, okay, fine, the idea can be there. Like, Lindsay can conceptualize why people wanted to give the room to Yvonne and Nick.
Great.
But that doesn't mean that it got blasted out to everybody and everybody at least understood what was going on. You're trying to use that to bolster your argument for what you did after the fact. But, like, that wasn't what was happening at the time.
Also, you freaks, Lindsay's been picking rooms professionally for 10 years, okay? We know how to pick rooms.
And here's the thing. Lindsay never gets the primary because she's never sharing a room with someone. There's always somebody with a bigger personality. It's for a longer period of time, so she hedges her bets and she finds a mid-tier room. So you know what? If Lindsay fucking Hubbard wants the primary for once in her goddamn life, give it to her.
I'm not giving it to boring Yvonne and Nick, who said nothing this whole season, basically.
And
sorry.
I believe this wholeheartedly. If there is a primary and there are two girls who can share it, get it. It's kind of like Paige and Sierra on Winter House because everybody's going to get ready in the big bathroom. A boy does not need that.
No. Okay, so then everyone's like, hey, it might have been Andy, is like, hey, Whitney, what are other examples of Lindsay using the single mom card? And Whitney says she misspoke when she said Lindsay uses the single mom card. Instead, what she meant was she witnessed a situation where Lindsay feels like she's more deserving than other people. And Lindsay's like, okay, but when have I complained about being a mom?
Again, answer the question.
We get a long silence.
Getting yourself into more trouble, girl.
Yeah, we get a really long silence. And then Kenny's like, it's more about entitlement. And when he's like, yeah, it's about entitlement. And I'm like, Winnie doesn't have these two brain cells to rub together and go toe-to-toe with Lindsay.
Dude, they're going to get in so much trouble on reality TV if this is how they handle arguments. Every time they say something and then they get called out on it. So then they make an excuse for why they said it or what they meant, which then causes another problem. But skilled reality TV people like Lindsay then want to tackle both of those problems because she's like, you did say this and now you're saying this. And then to dig themselves out of that one, they do it again. It's like a Ponzi scheme of apologies.
Yeah. We're in a market. Yeah. We're in a marketing triangle. What are those? A marketing pyramid.
MLM.
A pyramid scheme.
MLM.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But Lindsay's basically like, okay, but I'm not being entitled. Like, what? Where's an example? We're asking for hard, concrete examples. If that's how it's insinuated by you, that's a separate issue, right?
Yeah.
And Lindsay says that which this is dramatic, but I love Lindsay. Lindsay says she cried about what Whitney said for 6 months and only didn't cry when Amanda had a scandal. So thanks, Amanda.
I was like, oh, Lindsay.
Listen, do I believe she cried for 6 months? No. But do I believe that she forgot her own problems when Amanda had a scandal? Hell yeah. Yes. And that was funny to be like, thanks, Amanda.
Here's the thing. Do I think she's been pissed about this for 6 months? Absolutely. This has been on her mind. And she just channeled and redirected her energy of that into Amanda and West and their problems. She combined it all and she went that way. But guess what? She's done
back.
with that now. And she's got to go right back to you.
Amanda and West have hit rock bottom, so now it's time to bring you two down.
Yeah. Like it's not fun anymore for Lindsay to play with a dead raccoon on the side of the road, but she's harnessed all this extra energy from the Amanda and West situation.
She's ready.
And she's gonna rebound it right back to you guys.
So Lindsay says she has a nanny because she has to work, while Whitney complains about her boyfriend not paying for a $30,000 closet in his apartment all season. And Lindsay's like, I'm providing for women. Okay,
Lindsay.
So good. Wait, it's so good because they don't have a comeback. It's so good because they have nothing to say.
It's crazy because Lindsay is really good at arguing with people. This is one of her worst versions I've ever seen, and they still can't battle Lindsay's lowest version of, like, activated.
Providing for women when you have a daughter is
One
so
daughter.
funny. I'm gonna use that. Now when my mom goes to work, I'm gonna be like, thank you for providing for women. Like, it's
Oh my
so
God.
good.
It's so good.
But Lindsay says she's providing for women while Whitney is depending on her boyfriend for her lifestyle. And Whitney's like, but I came out here and I apologized. And I was like, no, you didn't.
Girl. You
And Lindsay's
literally
like-
said, I didn't mean that, I meant this. I didn't mean that, I meant this. And you just keep doubling down on other things that you're mad at her about. You're riling her up more.
But here's the thing, Lindsay's going to get this last word, because then she goes, okay, well, you're going to need about 15 more apologies to apologize to all the women in the world. And Whitney, again, cannot argue with Lindsay's, like, worst argument. Whitney goes, I'm sorry it came across that way. And I'm like, that's not the apology. That's not an apology.
No, especially for Lindsay Hubbard. Especially when it comes to, like, mom stuff. A half-ass apology ain't gonna work here, babe.
And here's the other thing, Whitney, is that apology is definitely not gonna work, because then your stupid boyfriend comes in and says, Lindsay, you collect apologies like you collect souls. And I was like, here's him isolating. If we wanted to move on, he's gotta let Whitney fight this battle, dude.
Thing. But also, like, we were tiring ourselves out. Like, even if we weren't getting to the end, Lindsay was, like, getting over it just because it's like, this is getting boring. Even fighting with Whitney is boring. And then Kenny... Well, an iconic line. That was a great line.
That was great.
You just fired Lindsay back up. Like, great. Round 2, level 2 incoming. Yeah. What are you doing?
You collect apologies like you collect souls. That's great. That was great.
A great line. Terrible for their reunion.
Oh, bad for Whitney, because Whitney's never coming out of this what is it? The hole she dug herself in. Woof.
Yeah, like, we saw Paige and Lindsay go at it for, like, 6 seasons.
That was the only formidable opponent for Lindsay Hubbard. And honestly, for Paige DeSorbo. Those two, and that's why they respect each other, even if they're not friends.
At the end of the day, they, like, basically bowed of respect and said, we can be friends now. Whitney, you will never get there. She doesn't respect you.
Girl. Lindsay literally said, I'm providing for women. And Whitney didn't have. If I was Whitney, I would have started laughing. That's how you end it. You're just like, you know what?
Agreed.
You're right.
Lindsay did a 1-2 punch with women. She said, I provide for women, and you clearly hate women because of that. And also, you owe 15 million women in the world apologies for ragging on women so hard.
Honestly, providing for women would have sent me. I would have been like, you're right. Honestly, Lindsay, I'll take the L. I'll hold the L right here. Yeah.
That's the thing. Is, like, they think that they can walk out, and by they, Kenny and Whitney think they can walk out of this reunion by making Lindsay look like the bad person, when in reality, they just need to say they're sorry, put their head down, get through it, and just own this shit and ride it out. Like, you're not gonna win.
What's the number one rule of warfare? Know thy opponent. You don't think Lindsay's never looked crazy before, and she still has been around? She got a whole new fucking spinoff with her friends, and you're like, oh, we can destroy her in one season. Dude, this woman has been looking crazy, and she's still awesome.
To destroy her was being a bad mom, and, like, having a nanny.
No,
like, even if you thought you were going to destroy her, the weapons you brought to this fight, you brought a knife to a gunfight, babe.
No, yeah, it's bad. It's, like, bad. It's, like, terrible.
And
a
knife
boring.
is actually too much credit.
You can't.
You brought a
it's
piece
boring.
of paper to give her a paper cut to a bazooka fight with Lindsay.
Yeah. Lindsay has a tank. Okay, like, what are you doing? You can't even fight excitingly. This is boring.
No, they're so boring.
You know how they said if you come at, like, the same person on social media, that's like...
Yes.
Oh, man, I'll never let up. But it's funny, Whitney, you got to admit, this has been hilarious stuff.
Lindsay's the one who said that. And my entire episode is not about how Whitney and Kenny suck. It's like, 40% of it.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
I'm reacting to you guys, and I'm just calling it how I see it.
That is, call it like I see it. You know, that is funny.
There will be no
man.
insinuations here. I will directly tell you, Whitney and Kenny, I think you're fucking boring.
The way I pray, I like run into these two on the streets of New York, and I just go, boring,
Yeah.
boring, useless. Like, while Amanda and Wes, people are like heckling, like, fuck you, bitch. I'm just, boring. I'm gonna be like, out of all the people I could have run into, I run into the most boring. Right above the funny face in Soho. Ugh, boring. Anyway. Okay, well, next time we're going to talk about moms, the boys, Kyle and Amanda's marriage and the cheating. And so that'll be fun, I guess. I don't know.
Can't wait.
We'll see.
Part 2, I guess.
Well, you have something to look forward to, because I'm going to tell you who's the most in the city and who's the most out to the suburbs. So that's exciting. And we got to talk about our rankings, which will be fun.
Yes.
I'm very excited. Okay, well, we will be covering the second reunion. Thank God it's only 2 episodes. Do all the things I mentioned at the beginning. And with that, love ya.
Thanks for joining. Bye.